Hello, guys. We're back at it again. It's me and Shawni talking about another topic that is very important to us, I would say, or we talk about quite often.
Yeah, yeah. Which is that people seem to think that all black people are the same, or there's a universal way to be a black person, which is quite ridiculous.
And it's not coming from the right.
And it's not coming from the right. It's always these like super far lefties. It's always it's the dumbest thing, and I'm just like, don't y'all get tired?
So I apologize that I'm late again, as always, but it takes me a second to wrangle.
Like a couple days.
Yeah. To be quite honest, I get sidetracked, but it is what it is. Hopefully I can edit this out. I got like 3 other videos I gotta edit before this one. So yeah. All right, so let's get into it. So Luther creator responds to let's start with this one. BBC exec under fire for saying Idris Elba isn't authentic. Idris Elba's Luther isn't authentic because he doesn't have any black friends.
Oh,
now see, they did. They
didn't put the actual like other thing she said in here, which was pretty wild. Is he didn't have any black friends, and he doesn't eat Caribbean food.
Caribbean food. Now, as islanders, we have a lot to say about the Caribbean food. Apparently a lot of Shawni does it. Shawni doesn't.
Oh my gosh.
Because you don't like Caribbean food like that.
I mean, I like, but it's like, I don't know, like I don't reach for it first, but that's because I was born in America. My mom has 2 American children, so she's like, she made island food, but she also made things that my brother and I would eat. And my brother has Down syndrome, so he's a picky eater as well too. So getting him to eat certain things just didn't happen. So in return, it was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna make my life easier and not have the both of them try and eat this thing. She was like, try it, and then we didn't like it, and that's what it was. But it's the fact that she said that, like, because he doesn't eat Caribbean food, that basically he's not black enough. But I'm like, not every black person in the UK is
from the Caribbean.
Of Caribbean descent.
No, I'm different. I was the one eating all the Caribbean food growing up, all of it. So let's go a little bit closer into it. So I'm gonna go to her. Okay. So BBC diversity chief Miranda Whalen at the digital MIP TV conference on Monday. She told the crowd about her main issue with the show, which was that it wasn't authentic enough. Now, mind you, she's the diversity chief of the BBC. This is the BBC show. Okay. So she goes on to say to this crowd, when Luther first came out, everybody loved the fact that Idris Elba was in there. A really strong black character lead, Whalen said. We fell in love with him. Who doesn't? Who didn't, right? But after you got into about the second series, you got kind of like, okay, he doesn't have any black friends. He doesn't eat any Caribbean food. This doesn't feel authentic. She wasn't done. It's great having those big landmark shows with those key characters, but it's about making sure everything around them, their environment, their culture, the set is absolutely reflective. It will be very much about how we can make sure that this program is authentic in terms of storytelling. Now, she's contradicting herself all over the place because she's saying we have to make sure the storytelling is authentic. Okay, what about the storytelling is inauthentic?
It's inauthentic.
It's inauthentic.
Yeah.
Is it because, her goal is to make everything blackety black and not about the actual show, not about the actual character, not about, the motivations that the characters, his character in particular and the other characters around him may have? So what are we talking about inauthentic?
It's the fact that she's judging how black he is based on like whether he eats Caribbean food or like how many black friends he has. Like, who cares? That's not important to the show. That's not important to the story. Period. Like, it's not important at all. Like, I don't care if you only have black friends. I don't care if you don't have any black friends. What does that matter? Who cares? It doesn't That's none of your, ma'am, that's none of your business. Honestly and truly. The other thing too is that made me think of Ginny in Georgia with that damn scene where that Asian kid says to her, like, I've never seen you pound back jerk chicken.
Because apparently all black people eat jerk chicken, and most black Americans don't even eat jerk chicken.
Can we talk about how a half Chinese? You think he's half Chinese?
I don't know what he is.
He's half Asian and she's half white. I can't believe the two of them were really sitting there playing. Her white mom really were sitting there having this oppression Olympics back and forth. If anybody ever has the displeasure of watching Ginny in Georgia, I am so sorry. We got through the first episode and that was about it. And that's what that made me think of. That he wasn't black and he wasn't black enough. He wasn't authentically black because he didn't eat Caribbean food and he didn't have black friends. And it's just, none of those things are important to the basis of the show and the story. What it sounds like to me is you want a show and a story about stereotypes. That's what it sounds
like. That's always what it is. It's always what it is, because black people get boiled down to their stereotypes. Especially, so this is a Telegraph writer named and Daily Mail writer named Calvin Robinson, and his take was actually quite good. So he says, imagine judging a man by the color of his friends. This is where we're at. Racism is disguised as anti-racism. I'm in London, one of the most multi-ethnic cities in the world. I have friends from all backgrounds, not that it matters. Stop making skin color a big deal or racist. Then he goes on to say, yesterday it was implied I'm not black enough because I didn't have any black friends in my photo. Today, the BBC diversity chief says Idris Elba Luther isn't black enough because he doesn't have any black friends. These lazy stereotypes are racist, which they are. So then he goes on, great thing about Luther is that his skin color isn't the core of his identity. He's fighting many battles, and example that we're all human, we all struggle, but our ethnicity doesn't always play a part in that. That's diversity.
There we go.
At her.
He at her.
And it says equality.
I mean, the other thing, too, that this woman, this diversity director isn't taking into account, too, is how the culture in the UK is vastly different than the culture in Italy or the culture in America. Like, how black people in the UK on a person by person basis act different than black people in the US. So there isn't any, that's why I hate when people say things like I'm unauthentically black or unapologetically black. What the hell does that mean? Because
I'm a stereotype.
Because being black isn't just a universal thing. It's not every black person does the same thing, talks the same way, wears the same clothes, feels the same feelings. Like it's not, you don't just get to throw a blanket over an entire race of people and then act like it's okay. It's not.
Like, so what's the equivalent? Because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, so if we were in America, what would be the equivalent to what she just said? I don't see him. He ain't hot wings and chicklins and grits.
Oh, he ain't got no do-rag. He doesn't have a do-rag on. You know, at no point in the show do we see him with a do-rag.
He don't have any do-rag, and he don't play ball all day.
He does not wear Jordans. You know, yeah. he don't wear Jordans. He doesn't say facts.
He doesn't.
In agreement to things. I just can't.
I'm just like, apparently my Caribbean identity is like I have to have black friends and then I eat Caribbean food. Yeah. Awesome. And it was funny too, like in the UK, a lot of black immigrants are from Africa as well. Like they aren't just from the Caribbean.
It's a pretty large population from Africa and not from the Caribbean.
I mean, there's a large portion that are from the Caribbean, but it's not.
Where the show is based is London, I believe, and that's a very diverse area of the UK. So I'm not. I don't know. So what's it? So Idris Elba ain't black enough. Yes, that.
Yeah, this person can go fuck themselves. The police.
Yes, that.
Because this person's all like, the police turn on Luther every chance they get. How's this not an authentic black character? Eat a dick. Lord. Eat a whole dick. Because all y'all think that black people just have shit interactions with cops all the time. It really is only the ones doing some fucking dirt half the damn time.
I just don't understand why why she'd say this. Like, honestly, because what you're saying is you just want for people to live to be a stereotype. That's not okay.
That's what NPCs want. That's what the SJWs want. And we're going to box everybody in with their immutable characteristics, and you all get to stay in their box. That's why I'm working on a video talking about how they're expanding. There's a bunch of colleges expanding the whole the segregated not housing, because there was that too, where they were asking for housing,
student spaces,
there were student spaces too. No, graduations. That's what I'm thinking of, where they were expanding that, where they're like, oh, we want to have black only graduations. Yeah, there's I got that
I'm
in the
still trying
works
to figure
too.
out what's the reason for that. Like, is it because they think all black people are gonna bring pots and pans to the graduation? They go swag surf before they get their diplomas. Like, I'm so confused as to why this is.
I'll swag. I'll say you good. You good.
Yeah, like, I don't know why on earth this is. I don't know. This is so. It's annoying because this makes me think of when I was a middle schooler. And I saw myself and other people be told they're not black enough for essentially not being a stereotype. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my family moved out of the hood before your family ever got the inkling to do so.
That one kid I did. Your family loves you, and that's why.
I did. So there was this one time where some jackass basically was bullying me about being too white, apparently, even though I'm black. Apparently, I was too white. And he was over there talking about somehow, like, I must live in a white neighborhood. And mind you, the neighborhood I lived in was just in a suburb area, which is surrounded by a lot of other urban neighborhoods, because that's just how parts of South Florida are. And yeah, I just lived in like a lower middle class area, and Buddy was over there talking that smack. So I was like, hey man, just because my mom moved us out the hood to make sure we were okay doesn't mean nothing. Don't be mad at me because my parent loves me and your parents don't. And yeah, that boy didn't talk to me for the rest of the school year, and that was fantastic because I didn't need his kind of energy in my life.
That boy had to walk home talking about, man.
I'm like, sir, out of my face. It's just wild because I'm telling you, like, this is the same like middle schooler,
it is,
mentality.
It's the mean girl, the mean girl mentality. I keep telling you, laugh at me.
I can't even say that. I can't even say middle schoolers are like that today because I can't tell. You know what's wild is I thought the other day because I saw this black kid skateboarding, and it reminded me of back when I was like 12, 13, and I wanted to learn how to skateboard. And I got told left and right that I couldn't learn to skateboard because I was black and that only white kids skateboard. And I heard that from white kids and I heard that from black kids. I mostly heard that from black kids. And then now you see, I remember like when Kick Push came out in like 05, and it all of a sudden.
What was that, 06?
It was 05, 06, somewhere around there. All of a sudden, black kids on skateboards. All of a sudden, there was just this big eruption. Everybody was skateboarding.
That was the anthem, bro. You got me over here playing some Tony Hawk Underground, and I'm like, yo, it's my time.
And just to see now as an adult at almost like, in my like late 20s, to see like black kids out here on skateboards, it makes me think of those times where I heard all those idiots saying that to me, and I'm like, I'm so glad that these kids don't have to deal with that. At least I hope they don't have to deal with that. I mean,
even at that time, there were black skaters that were skating. I mean,
skateboarding as in like professional skateboarding, I never saw that. At least because I didn't have access. Really I wasn't into it from the professional standpoint. But I wanted to I'm like, oh, my friend's a skateboard, and I want to maybe I'll get to ask my mom for a skateboard, or I'll save my money and buy one, do this thing. We all go ride bikes together. We all hang out and whatever during the summer. So, hey, I want to, instead of me being on my bike pedaling to keep up with them, kick pushing, maybe I want to learn how to skateboard so I can do it too. And mind you, my skateboarding was quite short-lived because I was apparently an idiot, and I took a running start and jumped on a skateboard, and she
wasn't ready to do that.
That was where that kind of began and end. I was like, oh well, I'm just bad at this, so there's that.
I bought a skateboard.
It was just it's just this is what it makes me think of, that this stuff where it's like you have to be a stereotype in order to be considered enough of something, and that's a problem.
And it's gaining traction. That idea is just gaining traction, and I hope like we get more black people, because what will happen is like what Shawni's always told me is that eventually people get tired of it. People like us, people that grew up like us. I wanted to skateboard too, didn't really get an opportunity, but I bought a skateboard recently, so I'm trying to like actually learn. But anyway, as more people get fed up, because we're seeing like things with people like in the show Invincible, like with Amber's character, people, we're seeing people that don't really like her character for various reasons, and and just like the rumors that happened with Godzilla. Well, not Godzilla, but the rumors that happened with Falcon and Winter Soldier, and how people got turned off with that. I think it was the second or fourth episode. I can't remember.
I think it's the second episode.
I think it was the second episode where they got turned off with that. And you got people talking about getting mad that Godzilla doesn't have politics in it and why it's been so successful, which is, funny to me. But, I guess it's because I've been telling people it's because people don't want your politics rammed into their fucking shit.
Yeah, like
if it doesn't make sense.
People don't want to be bent over and have you shoving your baseball bat covered in barbed wire politics up their ass. Like, people don't want to deal with that.
It got annoying. That was the only thing I think that really benefited from, like, COVID and the lockdowns, is people got exposed to stuff that they weren't really exposed to
because
before.
they didn't have nothing to do except for to consume media. So now, it's basically
a lot more people paying attention now, and they're gonna have a lot of the same kind of growth and feeling towards it as like kind of like how Shawni did, but she was always kind of like not really into it, but you were always kind of not really into it, but as you started seeing it more and more, partly because I kept throwing it in her face, but as she started seeing it more and more, she stopped, yeah.
I'm just like, please,
but
I've had enough.
Let's continue, because Idris basically says in a response, he's like, we must not pull ourselves backwards, only push ourselves forward. That seems to be a supposed response to basically what she said. The showrunner, because we're just gonna skip because a lot of this is repeating the same thing. So the showrunner is basically said, he didn't write the character as necessarily to be a black character. He also says, I have no knowledge or expertise or right to try and tackle in some way the experience of being black man in modern Britain. It would have been an act of tremendous arrogance for me to try and write a black character. We would have ended up with slightly embarrassed, ignorant, middle class white writer's idea of a black character. And that is another problem in and of itself, because you feel like, because a lot of these creators feel like black people need to be and act a certain way for it to be authentic, instead of trying to create a character and a story that revolves around that character.
Yeah, it's to me, it's very indicative of what's going on right now, which is that there's just a lack of creativity and there's a lack of awareness that at the end of the day, if you're here to make a show, you're here to write a book or create something, you need to tell a story. And I feel like the world is lacking legitimate storytellers, or more so, they're getting stomped on by people whose basis of their storytelling is, well, they're black and this person's a woman. Yes, it sells itself. Like, that's basically how they treat it. It's like, we're just gonna sprinkle some minority on it or some gender on it, and oh yeah, we got it going here. And it's just like, it's just stupid.
The story all the way trash.
It's lazy. It's very lazy. It's like, I saw somebody say on Twitter where it's like, stop making, if you have one gay character in your show or your comic book or whatever, stop making their personality trait gay. Like, that's the only thing about them that's even remotely interesting, is you build this character around their sexual orientation. And I'm like,
that's not a personality.
That's not a personality.
The same way someone said something similar, and I like, it was same with being gay, and I quote tweeted it, and I was like, or being black.
Yeah.
Like,
yes,
black is not a personality type.
Same thing with same thing with even someone's monetary status. Being rich is not a personality type. Being poor is not a personality type. Like, those are not personality traits. Like, that's a status. That's a status. One's a status, one's a race, one's a gender. Like, it's not,
it's characteristics of a person, but it's not the personality of the person.
Your personality should not be, I'm poor or I'm rich, or I'm gay or I'm straight. That's the other thing too. Your personality shouldn't just be like, I'm straight. So and
some of these things can change. That's the funny thing, like the rich thing and poor.
Those are circumstances that can change immediately for you, depending upon what it is you're doing in your life or whatever. So there needs to be more creativity, and there needs to be less of trying to sell an agenda and more of just creating a world. And that's the problem. Like, these people aren't storytellers. They're not good writers. They're not good world builders. But it seems that studios don't care about that anymore. They only care about what kind of whatever you can peddle, what message you can peddle.
What can I pump out that's easy to pump out and easy to digest, and I don't have to put a lot of effort or work in.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
can just pump it out and you consume to consume, because that's what you guys are. You're consumers. Just consume my crap.
Yeah. Oh,
and then consume more product once you're done consuming that product.
yeah.
And then consume more product. So it's, and then the reason I brought that up is because you notice that he's, and I don't know if you guys know this, but he didn't write this character to be black, the creator.
Mm-hmm.
And then you notice the show is good. Why do you think that? Well, just like how Young Ripper says, and other black people and other, you know, people in this space have said in YouTube and whatnot, when you don't make a character, when they are not making a character that is black, they cannot default to that person's sexual orientation, race, or whatnot as the driving force why this character acts the way they do. So they have to actually create an interesting story, a good story, because when you create a white male character, you actually have to make the shit good, because no one gives a shit beyond beyond you know the race or the story that's being told.
Like, as also from a writing standpoint, as someone who likes to write and read a lot, all the characters I've created through fan fiction and things like that, I never created the character race first. Like, that wasn't ever important. It was kind of like, all right, well, here's what their personality is going to be like, and here's maybe something really, really interesting about them that they do or they say or they believe, and then it's like, okay, what do they look like? Like, that was when we were building our characters for D&D this second time around with Liliana. I didn't build from what she looked like. I built from the personality. I was like, okay, I want her to be a little arrogant, you know, a little bit of like, you know, she knows she's a little princess because she's a noble, you know, she's a little flirty, and I wanted for her to be a little dense, but not too dense, you know, more of like a naivete type of deal, but not too like stupid.
Stupid, just not the most wise.
Just not the most wise, because she's supposed to be in like her early 20s. I kind of felt like my inspiration honestly was like early 2000s party girls, like the Paris Hiltons and the Nicole Richies, but not so vapid to where it was just like really hard to like connect with her or talk to her. So that was my inspiration, and then what she looked like came after, and then to the point where I didn't even think about what she looked like pre-water genasi transformation. For our DM to be like, well, what did she look like before she was a water genasi? I don't know. I didn't think about it. It doesn't matter. The way she sees herself now is her true self. Like, that was.
I mean, she's just blue now.
She's just blue
with white hair.
Yeah, she's still got primarily the same facial features, but you know, like her eye color changed. So yeah, but that was it. That was really. I don't care. I don't care about your skin color. I don't care about a character's skin color. Are you creating a great character? Great, awesome, love it. I don't need some fictional character to represent me, because I am a living, breathing flesh bag. I can represent myself.
Part of that too is just having confidence in yourself, and you know, also noticed there's a lack of storytelling that relates to learning from a character that might not exactly look like you. Like they act as though you're incapable of identifying with a superhero, identifying with a character, and really learning through their struggles, or learning through just as they learn, you know, learning what they learn and then applying that to your life or whatnot. You know, it's a lot of those deeper life lessons that, you know, we might have got in cartoons and stuff. You notice that's not there either in a lot of shows. So
I think more people need to understand that it's less about a shared experience because of your race and more of a shared experience because you're a person. Like, that's what it needs to be again. It needs to be that, you know, you can identify with something not because the person is a similar skin color to you, but because of other things about them. Maybe it's a similar personality trait, or maybe a similar upbringing, or maybe like you just see something about that character that you just kind of identify with personally. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, oh, well, they're black and I'm black,
therefore I know everything that they need to say,
like,
I have something to learn from them.
Yes, or it's, we obviously are the same because we are a similar skin color. Like, no, it doesn't need to be like that. It's lazy. It's very lazy, and It's honestly insulting to have these big companies push this crap out on people and then get upset when people don't want it.
Because oppression is the new marketing. Oppression is the new marketing.
I don't like that.
Hey, wherever they can find money, it's not really helping them now. I think it's actually starting to backfire, but hopefully we'll see. But I think we basically talked about, this topic to death. And I think we basically said what we wanted to say. And this is a long time coming, and we actually thought this was funny. That this kind of
I wasn't even mad about this. I just thought it was dumb.
Yeah, it's just funny. We've talked about this several times, and now a lot more people get to see it. So it's just funny. But anyway, thank you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. I have more videos that you can check out. Links to these articles if you do want to read them in the description. We basically read them for you though. But if you want to read them or show them to someone else, do that. Share my video and discuss. I'm gonna actually have like other social medias you guys can contact me on. But yeah, growing the channel step by step. And like I said, appreciate it. And you guys have a great day or night or wherever you're from. Goodbye.
See ya.